Hey there, friends. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to take a look at what happened on August 19, 1692, in Salem, Massachusetts, as the sun rose on this fateful day. Salem village was gripped by a frenzy of fear, suspicion, and paranoia. The accusations of witchcraft had continued to cast a shadow over the community as they prepared for the execution of 5 accused witches. Let's take a look at the 5 victims that lost their lives on this day in history. John Proctor was 60 when he was accused of practicing witchcraft. He was a respected farmer and landowner in Salem. He was also very outspoken about the trials and the afflicted girls, calling them liars. When his young servant Mary Warren began having fits and behaving strangely, he beat her in an attempt to get her to behave herself. One day he came into town and stopped to have a conversation with another resident. They talked about the trials and the afflicted girls. He said, "If the girls were let alone, we should all be devils and witches quickly." On April 4, 1692, his wife Elizabeth was accused of practicing witchcraft and arrested. It was at her examination when the afflicted girls turned their attention to John Proctor and accused him of being a wizard. He was arrested and later indicted on the charge of witchcraft. Martha Carrier was in her late 30s when she was accused of witchcraft in 1692. Martha's family moved to Andover in 1690 from Billerica. There was an outbreak of smallpox at the time, and her family was accused of bringing the disease to Andover. The town quarantined the family, and the constable was required to deliver supplies to their home. Over a dozen Andover residents died of smallpox that year. On May 31, 1692, Martha was arrested and accused of trying to force the afflicted girls to sign the Devil's Book during Martha's examination. The afflicted girls accused her of killing 13 people in Andover and said they saw the ghosts of her victims in the courtroom. George Burroughs was 42 when he was accused of practicing witchcraft. He attended Harvard University, where he trained as a minister and would have been an unlikely target. Most Puritan ministers were public figures and engaged with their community. However, Burroughs was not like other ministers. He was a very private person and was considered a man of mystery. During his trial, community members testified about rumors of his unusual strength. Others testified that his apparition came and tormented them, and the spirits of his deceased wives visited them and said Burroughs murdered them. John Willard was only 28 when he was accused of practicing witchcraft. He was considered an outsider who married into an established Salem village family. He took up an interest in land speculation in the village, which made his in-laws, the Wilkins, uneasy. In 1690, he and 2 other partners purchased a village lot and divided it into smaller lots, then sold them to outsiders for a significant profit. When the witch trials started, he was a constable and was responsible for arresting the accused witches. However, he started to doubt the legitimacy of the accusations and quit his job. Not long after quitting his constable job, he found himself being accused of witchcraft. George Jacob Sr. was in his early 80s when he was accused of practicing witchcraft on May 10, 1692. He was known for having a violent temper and was once fined for striking a man in 1677. His servant was one of the afflicted girls till she was accused of signing the Devil's Book. She admitted to signing it and said it was her master Jacob Sr. that made her do it. George was indicted on the charge of practicing witchcraft. On August 19, 1692, all 5 of the condemned were loaded into a horse-drawn cart at Salem jail and slowly made their way to the execution site. As the cart made its way through town, a large crowd of onlookers followed behind. Each of the condemned insisted they were innocent as they awaited execution. Reverend George Burroughs gave a passionate speech as he stood on the ladder and prayed to the crowd, bringing several of the onlookers to tears as they listened to him pray. He concluded with the Lord's Prayer, which was often used as a test as it was believed that a witch could not recite it. Some of the onlookers were moved by his flawless recitation that they started to question his guilt. The afflicted quickly interjected and said the devil was helping prompt the lines. As we reflect on the tragic events that unfolded on August 19, 1692, we are reminded of the lasting marks history leaves upon us. The Salem witch trials stand as a haunting reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria and the consequences of unchecked accusations. Just as the shadows of ignorance and hysteria once darkened Salem's streets, let us ensure that the light of knowledge and compassion forever guides our path forward. If you are interested in more information about the Salem witch trials, visit our website at 1692beforeandafter.com. If you plan to visit Salem, you won't want to miss our 1692 Salem tour. We take a deep dive into the events surrounding the history of the Salem witch trials. Tickets are available on our website. Until next time, friends, remember history teaches us valuable lessons, and it's up to us to listen and learn from them.